Next, I'd like to bring in Michael Maloney and Doug Fighter from EY's mobility platform team. They're both technical solution architects, and they're going to tell us why mobility in this context is not about necessarily your mobile platforms or mobile phones, but I believe about moving people around the globe. So with that, over to you, Doug and Michael.
Samir, thanks. Again, I'm Doug Fighter, Senior Manager in our Microsoft Services practice here at EY. And what we'd like to talk about is our EY Mobility Pathway program. Before we jump into the solution itself, I think it's important to note that when we talk about mobility, we are not talking about cell phones or mobile applications, but we're talking about global mobility. So global mobility is the series of services that companies provide their employees as related to relocation around the globe. So you can think of things like immigration, tax, Social Security, compensation. All of those services go into moving an employee from country A to country B. And historically, those services have been disparate. So several different applications, online, offline, employees working with several different groups to manage that move have made it a very complex transaction, not only for the employees themselves, but for corporate and HR users that are supporting those moves. So keeping track of all of those items and tasks and services that need to be completed with each and every move has created, quite honestly, just a very disparate solution. And so EY looked at this as an opportunity to better support our large enterprise clients. And how best to do that, but to create a fully integrated solution that takes all of those services that, again, are typically handled in silos and bringing them together into an integrated platform. And in this case, powered by the Microsoft Power Platform to really enable compliant, cost-effective, and user-friendly decision-making in supporting those employees and their global moves. So one last thing is, as we touch upon, how Microsoft was really able to support us in this journey to creating EY Mobility Pathway. There's some key features here where we took advantage of the Microsoft Power Platform to really drive the solution. So one is, as we think about the dataverse and getting all the information centrally located, being able to leverage that data very quickly, whether it be through a Power App, a portal, natively within Dynamics 365, we're able to take that data and manage it throughout the very numerous scenarios that exist with global moves. And that comes down tactically to how we even ask for that data through questionnaires. So again, the flexibility of the data model really allows us to take advantage of the platform and what it has to offer. Additionally, the native capabilities from a security perspective within the Power Platform were a huge selling factor for selecting Microsoft for this solution. Again, from just the native security features within apps to document security to integration security, we're really able to bring that right out of the box and leverage those capabilities to drive the security, which again was a key requirement for this solution. And then finally, the one thing that I'd like to highlight is, again, that user experience. So the true benefit here is for the employee. They are now able to quickly see in a single view on their employee dashboard where each of those services stand, the status, any action items that they may have in their, you'll see here, their interactive to-do list. And it's just the centralization of that data and those activities has really created tremendous value in this program, and specifically for that end user in ensuring that the move and the related services can be completed very quickly. And again, ultimately to help remove stress associated with the move. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Michael Maloney, who is our senior technical architect, to talk a bit more specifically about the solution itself.
Hi, so I'm Michael Maloney, and I am the technical architect within EY's Microsoft Services Group. On the EYMP solution, I was the lead architect and tasked with bringing this solution onto the Power Platform. Our group, the Microsoft Services Group, was brought in about March of 2019, and at the time we were essentially challenged with seeing if we could create a demoable solution within a very short time frame, and for us it was about 6 weeks. Prior to that, EYMP had started as a homegrown, built from scratch solution, and so, looking to get to market faster, we wanted to see if we could make it work on the Power Platform. And so we were able to take the custom portal, which was already developed, and be able to fit that onto Power Apps and Dynamics on the back end in just a very short time frame, right? So we were able to redirect the front end there and have a working functional demo that clients could actually see within about 6 weeks. With that, we were live with our first client, just 8 months later. Speed to market is really the key here. The Power Platform really gives us so much functionality out of the box, right? And so if you're looking to build these things from scratch, there's so much that needs to be considered and taken into account, where the Power Platform just has these things ready to go for you. So we have all these turnkey features, right? In the context for EYMP, right, one of the critical features that we had is the case management aspect of all of these various services that EY provides to their clients. So we were able to leverage Dynamics 365 customer service to handle the case management aspect of that. And then another critical piece that we were in need of for the solution was workflow and automation. And so we were able to leverage Power Automate to handle all of the workflow and automation for the solution. With Power Automate, it's pretty seamless and easy to configure the automation to just work, right? And to try and build that stuff from scratch is going to take you a very long time. Another point that was really helpful, as Doug had mentioned too, is the security and the role-based access control that the platform gives us to handle all of the different access requirements that we have within inside of EY. Another big thing that we had for this solution was the ability to customize, right? And so um, we build out a core product here, and then each client has the ability to customize on top of that, right? Let's say, our needs are just slightly different than what is currently built out or provided by the default EYMP solution, right? And so we allow for clients to come in and be able to have certain customizations tailored to their business. The ability to drive these customizations mostly through point and click type configuration, low code. In this case, it's no code for most of this, right? That gives us a really quick to market advantage there. We were able to layer and extend our solutions to meet the requirements for these clients. The robust APIs that Power Platform gives us as well, as I said earlier, we have a custom portal that we are using, and we were able to take that and create just some custom middleware to point all of the custom portal requests to the Power Platform and direct traffic there. And right, and each client could be in their own organization. And so the portal and the middleware that we have behind that is able to direct that traffic, and everything done through the API that is externally for our clients, right? Just goes through those APIs. Talking through a journey of EYMP. So let's say we have an employee who wants, or not necessarily wants to, but say their business is sending them over to Portugal to work for a couple of years, right? So we have John, an HR advisor at Contoso, right? So he logs into the portal and he has a corporate view, and he can see everything that he manages for Contoso, right? Jessica is in need to go to Portugal for a couple of years, right? So he can go into the portal, he logs in, he initiates a new immigration service for Jessica. At that point, the data gets created in Dataverse, and then we have Power Automate picks up on that and automatically creates the case given the details. Power Automate looks at data that comes in and is able to create the right case based upon all that information. Along with that, there's numbers of tasks that need to be done for the employee, right? They have to upload their documents, they have to provide information about their dependents, whatever it may be, right? So that case gets created, and right off the bat, again, this is all automated, doesn't require any manual intervention. And then lastly, she gets a notification saying that, hey, you have a new case in the system and that you need to go and finish your tasks and whatever else may be required to complete that case. And then she logs into the system. She goes into the same portal. Right away, she's taken to her case details where she sees everything that's relevant to her at a glance, and she's able to start completing her tasks. As she works through those tasks, right, all that data gets saved back into Dataverse and compiled and collected. And then once all of that is ready and she's ready to move on to the next step, EY works the case essentially, right? And so there's various different people who may work on the case given the life cycle of that, depending on the needs, whether it be legal or immigration related or whatever it may be. There's all kinds of different services that could be necessary for that given case, right? And so once the cases have been reviewed and they've been okayed, Jessica's now clear to begin work at the destination. She's received her files. Immigration has been okayed, and everything is ready to proceed. And so she's off to her destination. Talking about some of the solution architecture here, we kind of touched on some of this with the example of the journey, but diving a little bit deeper here. So there was a React portal that had already been created, and it was probably about 80% finished at the time, right? And rather than just throwing that away, we wanted to just be able to take that work and then be able to point that to Power Apps, right? And to the APIs that it provides. And so we were able to do that within just a matter of weeks. And that was what got us that initial proof of concept and demo, right? And so we were able to take that front end, stick it, have it work on the APIs to get all that information, get the cases created, start working through those cases, get everything flowing back and forth between the two applications, right? Once we're in there, we have our model driven apps. We have again, Dynamics 365 customer service handling our case management. We have Power Automate doing all of our automation. There's a few custom plugins, but in general, Power App side of it is pretty light in the actual custom development. I'd say the majority of the custom development for this solution is actually on the front end on the portal piece, right? And so most of the backend stuff was highly configurable and really taking that no code, low code to the extreme there. One of the things I would say about EYMP is that it's really a system of systems, right? It is a giant iceberg, and there are many systems that make up what is EYMP. As we see here, like we have various systems for master data management. We have systems for reporting, right? And so of all the various systems within EYMP, all of that data flows out of those systems and into a data lake where we use Power BI to do the reporting. On top of that, then we have all these other different line of business applications within inside of EY. We have external integrations with our clients. We have external integrations with governments, whatever that may be, right? The EYMP solution is able to handle that. And all of this is built on top of Azure and the Power Platform. In addition, we also use application insights to handle the monitoring. So we're able to see like the usage metrics and I guess on everything that's working in all of these various systems, right? We have application insights on the front end. We have it on the back end and all the other various services that we have within the solution. And lastly, we're also using Azure DevOps. given the architecture of EYMP, right, where we have multiple clients that may have their own customizations, and so they may be in their own organizations, right? And so when we're deploying, we can have dozens of environments that we're pushing changes out to, right? And Azure DevOps, we really relied on heavily to automate all of those deployments. In addition to the pipelines and the deployments and the automation aspect of DevOps, we're using that to manage the backlog. We're using that to manage all of the source code, the testing, and all that stuff. And that's been a really big help for the team to manage everything. So to summarize, leveraging the Microsoft Power Platform has really enabled EYMP to accelerate its solution to market and getting our customizations and enhancements for our clients to deliver in a rapid way. We've been able to reduce costs, deliver quickly, and really see a tremendous benefit by leveraging the Power Platform. With that, thank you for having us here today, and that about sums up EYMP.
Thanks a lot, Michael. Listening to your story and Anbu's story I just love how you've brought essentially the entire Power Platform vision to life. With centralized store, all your data in Dataverse, you had some very complex business requirements and workflows. You had modular features built around it using Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, even Power Virtual Agents. You've integrated both not only with internal systems, with Microsoft Azure, as well as a number of third-party services. You've been able to connect from your custom React portal into the Dataverse using the SDK, and all of this with this rapid development cycle using kind of the spectrum, honestly, of no-code, low-code, and code-first solutions with a level of customizability, extensibility, security, wrapped up in a robust ALM DevOps process. So it really feels like the all-encompassing kind of narrative of the Power Platform. It's been really great to see that come to life. And thanks everyone for watching and learning from today's session from EY. Thank you.